In theory, we're live, Jane.
Thank goodness for that.
Oh, good morning. Hello. Welcome to Natasha Makes. Only she's not here.
No,
She's not here.
it's me and Gems this morning.
It is. Oh, it's so nice to be here. I'm just going to see if I can get on. I've got all the tech here, look.
Yes.
Got one for the cameras, one for all the stuff I do, and one to chat to people. Oh.
No, you need to have an extra pair of arms.
What's the first thing that's come up?
Oh,
A lovely picture of little Emily and Freddie going to their new school.
I know.
Oh, and they look so happy.
She's so grown up.
So that's where Natasha is, as she's settling her children into their lovely new school, where they do surfing for PE.
How cool is that?
I know. I want to go.
I want to go there.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Oh, here we go. Let's see if we can find ourselves, Jane. Let's see if we find ourselves coming back. That's how I feel this week.
Yeah, I think we're going to meet ourselves somewhere.
It's been one of those weeks, hasn't it?
Yes. We're still catching up from the bank holiday, aren't we?
Yes.
It's just amazing what one day extra off can do to us, because we're only a small team and it takes us forever to catch up again.
Exactly that, Jane. SJ gave me the thumbs up, so I'm assuming everything's all working. Are we all live, SJ? Is everything all good? Can the world and his wife see us? It's not being very fair to me. It's not letting me see what I need to see at the moment. I heard a distant, yeah.
It's okay.
So we'll find you in a minute and we'll all say hello, because that's polite, Jane. That's what we like to do. We're polite like that. It says live now. Always good. Okie doke. But let's see if Facebook can be found. There we are, live now. Ah, I do love it when it comes together. Here we go. Jan Brown says, morning, everyone. Jane says, morning, lovely ladies from a soggy Somerset.
It's a bit soggy on the way this morning for
Was
me.
it?
Yeah.
Oh.
I got to about Walsall before it stopped raining.
Oh. It's no
I
fun,
don't like
is
it on the motorway when it's raining.
I don't. And people drive like nutters still, and it's not
it's
safe.
crazy.
It's not safe. Auntie Lizzie says, good morning to you and all the folks. And Jenny Totterdale says, morning, Gemma and Jane. Because we are still here.
Good morning, everybody.
And we've been here all week. So Monday, even though Natasha's not been here this week, Monday we had a pre-recorded show, and that was the Lisa Chandler Baltimore block.
Yes, really
the
lovely
hemp
block.
one. So that was a pre-recorded show. Thank you for those who joined. Thank you to those as well. Good for you, who got hold of the bolt ends that we did. There's some very special bolt ends. Those flew out quite quickly.
Yes.
The ones on the Friday deals sheet flew out quite quickly as well.
Yeah.
I've had a little shenanigate around and found some other bolts that we perhaps can show if we get time at the end. But we're going to see how long today's demo takes, and we've got the half-metre heavens to look at as well, haven't we?
Yes, they're beautiful.
But Jane's got stuff to show us because she's made rather fabulous things. You've called it a wall hanging, but it could be a nice little lap quilt as well.
Yeah, and I've folded this up just for viewing purposes to make it like a coat spool.
Yes.
But it's more like a Gutermann spool, really.
Yes.
It's longer than that.
So that it's pinned, so that you can see it but it is longer.
Yes.
It's fab. Who wouldn't want a spool of thread in their sewing room?
Yeah, well, we've had these lovely ombres, haven't we, for a few weeks now?
Yes.
And I keep looking at them and I keep thinking, how can you make the best use of these? And there's some fabulous patterns on the V&Co using their ombres.
Yeah.
Really lovely ones. And then I was thinking about the jelly roll race that you do.
Yeah.
And so we've seen, this is a classic pattern. The spool block is quite a classic one, and we've made it big, little,
well, that was the thing,
tiny.
wasn't it? Big, little and tiny.
And you can make
sweet.
you can make all three from the block, and you can make
one quilt kit
from the quilt kit, and from this size you actually get two, so you can either make two cushions.
She's so
or
clever,
make it back
people.
to back, or make it a small.
She's so
wall
clever.
hanging.
How clever is she? I've just noticed the product page. We need to give that a little jiggle. Let me just have a little play with it.
Oh, is it playing up? Is it?
Yeah, it's just got incorrect stuff on it, and it's
Cheeky.
not updated like it
Cheeky,
should have done
cheeky.
overnight. So that's really helpful. So
We do
just
tech, don't
let
we?
me just have a little press of a few buttons to make sure that that's available, because I'm pretty sure everyone's seeing it's going to go, where's the pattern? I want it. Of course you do. Why would you not? There we go. So the printed version is up now. There will be more information on that page later today, because the information I put on there last night hasn't saved. Love it when that happens.
Yeah, it's always good.
The actual instruction, which is a big boy. It's a big boy because it's not one project, not 2 projects, but 3 projects. Because you explain how to make all 3 of these things. You don't just say scale it up or scale it down.
No.
I've tried
to give the measurements.
You've been brilliant, Jane.
The process is the same, but I've given you the measurements to make the 3 different sizes. So
it's fabulous. And that pattern is done. I've just got to sit with you after the show and do that final proof, and then we can attach it to the digital and get that set live later today. So if you are watching us internationally or you just prefer a digital instruction, fret ye not, you will get this one. If you pop back at tea time, it'll be there for you. All right. But in the meantime, I've just set the printed live for those of you who are itching to get one. We will have a look at the quilt kits in a minute because they are beautiful. And as Jane rightly says, the one quilt kit will make you the 3 items.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Right, amazing. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. But first, we've got the half metre heavens, haven't we, Jane? So while you get those ready, I shall just see who else is watching. We've got Jimmy.
Oh, hi,
Jimmy. Good morning, Jimmy.
Oh,
here we go. Claire Angelina says she's watching and she's multitasking. She's on a digital marketing course online as well.
Ooh.
Oh, here we go. Leslie Freeman, good morning, everyone. Just seen Natasha's photo of first day. So gorgeous.
I know.
We all had a little.
Yeah, because
over Emily, little Mims in her uniform.
She looks so grown up.
Such a munch. I mean, she's so cute anyway. I rang Tash and had a little squeal.
Yes. I've just got the ABBA song running through my head. Slipping through your fingers.
Yeah, I know. Don't. That in the film, in Mamma Mia, when they do that, just bawl.
Yeah. Just cry every time.
Yes. Terrible. But we're all kind of at different stages because, you know, there's Mims on her first day of school.
Yeah.
And Freddie in his new school. My stepdaughter's going to uni.
Yeah.
Meg is now looking at changing her subject, so she might be restarting sixth form because she can carry on. They're very happy with her, but she's like, you only do this once, Mum. Shall I switch my subjects and just do an extra year? And I'm like, that's what you want to do, you know, knock yourself out. So we're going to have a meeting with them. So that could be a new phase.
Yeah.
Vicky's son, Alex, he's gone and started at his secondary school today. He's in year 7.
Gosh, big school.
So I hope you have a good day today, Alex. But yeah, I know, it's all going on. Here we go. Good morning, everyone. Morning, Pete. Oh, your mum's here. Morning. Mum. Good morning, love the quilt. I've got to walk the dog, so I'll catch up later to find out what shenanigans have been going on in Natasha's absence. We have shenanigated a bit because I don't ever want you to feel like you're missing out. So Monday we did have a pre-record. There were some cracking deals. I feel I have redeemed Natasha's absence in that way. Yesterday, we had Sarah Payne.
Well, yes.
I mean, you can't argue, can you? If I'm going to substitute.
Sarah Payne and Christmas, what more could you want?
Exactly. So we had the most fabulous, beautiful tree skirts yesterday with Sarah Payne. Please, please, please check that out. It was such a lovely show. She's lovely, such good company. She's good fun. And her patterns are beautifully written. And like we aim to achieve with ours, lots of photographs, lots of explanation. If you're ever concerned about buying a pattern and there being not enough information for your sewing level, you don't have to worry about that with Sarah's patterns or with ours because we try to make sure that they're fully inclusive.
Yeah, I always like to think that somebody doing it for the first time would be able to pick it up and follow it. Because I think sometimes you can get a pattern and there's a lot of assumption that you know things.
Yep.
And it's not always clear. So I like to make mine very beginner level, but then anybody at a more advanced level can still follow it and have fun doing it.
And Sarah's the same. That's her niche. She likes to work on a beginner level pattern. Yeah. But like I said yesterday, even if you've been sewing for a really long time, it's still nice to be able to pick up a pattern and just go, and make the item confidently and competently, and that's part of the enjoyment for me.
Yes.
Occasionally I like something tricky to challenge me.
Yes.
But a lot of the time it's a nice mindless activity that I can just sit down and produce something lovely and say, look what I did.
Yeah.
You know, I think a lot of you know,
lovely,
I've got chronic pain condition and chronic fatigue. And so for me, sometimes I wake up and I'm like, I've achieved absolutely nothing this weekend. But if I can sit and do some sewing for a little while and produce something and go, I made that.
Yeah.
The mindset difference, it is huge.
Yeah,
so
it does,
yes.
It does good for your mental health, doesn't
it? Really does. It really does. As to what shenanigans we've been up to, like I say, that's gone on the past few days. We're always going to have Stitchy Witchy Wednesday. Jane is still here. And of course, shush. We can't possibly deny you that. And the kits, we will talk about in a little while, but for those of you having a peep on natashamakes.com, you might have noticed I might have shenanigated a rather hefty discount on those. Again, that'll be a today thing, so she doesn't slap my legs. I'll have to take it down before she notices.
She's too busy today with first day at school, so we can get away with all sorts of things.
Exactly. It's been a bit soggy in Wellingborough as well, but it seems nice today.
Yes.
Nikki's loving the quilt and cushion. Karen's with us. Karen from Wigan. Hi, Karen.
Hi, Karen.
Where have you been? I mean, she'll have been at Morrison's yesterday.
Yeah, she looked absolutely fabulous yesterday.
Oh,
She's got her Mary Poppins dress on.
Did she?
That dress.
You do make a fabulous dress. She says, sorry I'm late. I got carried away on the overlocker and lost track of time. She's making a frock, I tell you. It's the overlocker. We want to see.
She'll be making something beautiful, as always.
Jimmy's behaving.
He always does, doesn't he?
Lots of chat going on.
Very good behaved boy.
And my mother's watching. Morning, Mum.
Hi,
morning, everyone. Good-o. Yes, we do have Half Metre Heavens. For those who've not perhaps watched us before, welcome. Our Half Metre Heavens are our weekly deal on a Thursday. These will go live at midnight tonight. So if you pop over to natashamakes.com now and you're searching for these, you won't find them. Don't panic. It's because they're not live yet. But some of you, eager beavers, will be on there at midnight tonight. Waiting.
Yes.
Waiting.
It's amazing how many orders go through at a minute past.
They are like, so fast. They're like ninjas. Ninjas, I tell you. And yes, we have the Half Metre Heavens are a half metre of designer fabric and a half metre of plain for the rather fabulous price of £9.99.
Yes. And we've matched the plain to give it a nice boost to the designer fabric.
We have. So we'll go into overhead cam now so you can have a look at each one and just see what we've put together. First up, she says, if that button actually works. There we go. Hurrah! First up, we have our very, very beautiful, and we've had this one before that we've put with salmon, which was great. But this lovely paisley rose fabric from Crystal Manning from Oda. They're lovely quality, the Modas, aren't they?
They're beautiful fabrics, they really are. Yeah.
It's a lovely base cloth, isn't it?
Yeah.
But we just chose this time, this beautiful pink, because it just pulls that out there. But we do, I think, still have a couple with the salmon. So if you wanted to get two bundles together.
Yeah, because we put the salmon and the raspberry together and they do look rather lovely.
They really do. So we thought that was a little bit clever one. A little bit clever one because you can still potentially snaffle both. And that's our raspberry. For those who see that plain and say, well, that's beautiful. The plains that we're showing you are all available by the half metre. So if you saw that and went, oh, I need that plain in my life, that's raspberry. Always there, $3.99 a half metre. I adore this fabric, Jane.
I love it.
This is what we used to make the boho poof. Now, the boho poof is coming to live in my garden. Which, for those who got the pattern, that's where it was photographed, was in my new garden. And I fell in love with this collection. It's the Welcome Home collection by Anna Maria Horner. This one is Amsterdam in Canal. Canal, even. Canal. Canal.
Same word, pronounced differently.
Hardly slept.
Yes, I can imagine.
But this here, this was cushions for me.
Yeah,
garden cushions.
I think it's beautiful.
So I have snaffled away a little of this. Now, we looked at various things with this. There's some greens that are really beautiful. You know, there was some sage and what have you would have looked great, and some corally colours would have looked fabulous. But in the end, what went with it, because it was just the best, is magenta.
And that really pulls this flower. It's sort of like a tulip flower there.
I'm not getting the vibrancy of this on our screen here, so hopefully you are on yours. But I mean, what a beautiful combo! Oh, Jane,
gorgeous colour.
What a beautiful combo!
I really wanted to use this fabric to make curtains for the camper van, but it's just a little bit too busy, really, to have like 10-metre pieces in one go around the camper.
I'm wondering whether you just need to put a little edge to your white curtains. It would look brilliant.
Band round there for the tie backs or something.
Oh, Karen's not dressmaking. She says she's restocking cushions because September's a crazy month for her, so she's burning the candle at both ends. Oh, bless
she's
you,
been really busy over the summer with her.
She has, with her makes. And that's worth mentioning, actually, our Natasha Makes patterns. If you are someone who makes to sell, as I'm sure Karen won't mind me mentioning she does, because she's put it all over social media and she tells us frequently in the chat, we are more than happy for you to use our patterns and produce your makes and sell those makes. For those of you who are like, well, of course, that's not always the case. With a lot of commercial patterns, you're supposed to make items for your own personal use or to gift, but you're not necessarily supposed to sell those items. But
yeah, you do have
Natasha's
to be
very
careful.
clear on it. As crafters, if we're making and we can sell, then we get some money coming in, we can buy some more stuff. So it's all for the greater good in her view.
That's what you need.
The only thing we do ask is, point number 1, don't share or reproduce the pattern. That's, you know, against all the copyright and law and all of that stuff, and we'd be very, very sad and diddled. That's what we'd be. Diddled, which wouldn't be fair.
Yes, we'd feel sneaped.
We would. We'd be quite sad. So please don't do that. And also, if you would just say, I've made this using this pattern, if anyone asks you, brilliant, and share that love. And, you know, if another sewer says, oh, that's lovely, this is where you can get the pattern, get it from Natasha Makes. Ultimately, we're a really small business with some really big overheads. You know, I think a lot of people are the same.
We all know this, yeah.
Yeah, and you watching us is fabulous, and we're very grateful for your support. But the money going into the till makes all the difference as to whether we're on your screens or not. So, thank you. And any people that you can refer into the family, it grows us, and that's amazing. Yeah. More half meter heavens, Jane.
Beautiful.
Look at this one.
Tilda.
Now this is Tilda, and we literally have, well, we had 1 metre of this just over left on the bolt, so I've got 2 units out of it. That is it. If it's one you're in love with, this will sell out at 2 minutes past 12, you watch. This is our vase collection. The print on these is stunning, isn't it?
Yeah.
This was her lockdown project, this collection, wasn't it? And she,
It's a beautiful one. It really is lovely.
It's Natasha's favourite Tilda collection of all time, this.
Yeah,
the artwork
it is classic Tilda, isn't
exceptional. Yeah, the artwork is exceptional. And, you know, this southeast influence to all the pottery and everything's just gorgeous, isn't it? But it's lovely. Lovely,
is that
lovely,
with
lovely.
Salmon? Yes,
it is with salmon, but we've only got 2.
Fastest fingers first on that one.
It is fastest fingers first. Then we've got another Anna Maria Horner, actually, from the same collection that we showed you a minute ago. This is Welcome Home. Don't make me sing. Can't help it. Am I the right way up now? Yes.
Yes. I love this. It's so vibrant.
It is. It's really zesty. It's really beautiful. And then we have with it corn yellow. Now, I don't know how well that's going to show, but there's quite a lot of the corn yellow shenanigating away there, and it just pops it when we put that together.
Yeah, it really brings it all out.
Look at that.
It's really lovely. Nice and fresh, make beautiful cushions, or the beach bag pattern that would look lovely with this.
Oh, wouldn't it?
Yeah, nice
really
and bright.
Lovely. But nice in your caravan as well. Now I've got something, again, another moda. This is the bit of Tulip Tango. Jane made a beautiful quilt with these fabrics, but these beautiful big prints I just thought lended themselves really well to half metre heavenage.
Yes.
And this is one of their feature prints. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. And we put that with gold.
Can't quite do it like Natasha does it, can we?
Not going to. Not going to try.
No.
Rude to try.
But that just pulls out all this lovely yellow highlight in the tulip centres.
Yeah,
it's really pretty.
And I've popped up a quantity of this, but there is still some more of this on the bolt. These were big bolts that we got in. So we have still got some by the half metre. If it's something you're seeing now and thinking, oh, it'd make a fabulous skirt or a fabulous frock, or I've got ideas for that, grab it while you can. We've shenanigated a bit off it for half metre heavens, but there is some meterage at the moment.
Lovely.
Then from the same collection, look at this one.
This is really pretty.
I've done the label the other way up. I've got a feeling we're putting sangria with it, but look, there it is. I should have trusted my instincts. It is sangria. No,
that just makes the little tulips pop.
It's
matchy-match perfectly.
Yeah. It's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really lovely.
Again, you know, pocketed pouches or cushions look lovely with that, with the sangria edging or something. Really pretty.
I really like this collection because it's zesty, but at the same time it's got a classic look to it as well.
Lovely
it's not
paisley print to it. It's really pretty.
Yeah, I like Larry and Loud, but not everyone does like Larry and Loud, and it does nice and bright and cheery without being too Larry and Loud, Jane. Bit of O'Deal by Earl, my friends. Oh, look. This is so cute. Exactly, the masked bandits. And look, they're here. They're just hiding everywhere, little mices.
Yeah, look at them in the little nest.
Little nest. But they're everywhere, and you've got them in amongst the fungi. I'm going to say mushrooms because they might be toadstools or whatever. And we have put this together with coral, I think it is. Look at that.
It's beautiful. It really lifts the fungi.
It goes perfect, doesn't it?
But there's also a little tiny flower in here, and it just makes those pop slightly as well.
You don't see them.
No.
And then you put this here and suddenly these little flowers everywhere, they all appear.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of fabric wizardry, I think you'll find.
It's really cute.
Right, isn't it?
Really cute.
Kelly's joined us. She says, woohoo, working from home today. I love it, working from home. Working from home / one ear on Natasha makes.
Yes. Lovely.
One of the perks. And if you love the Master Bandits, as I do, I couldn't resist it. There's more than one colourway. So we got the pink version, which, I mean, look at them.
Gorgeous colour.
I have to stroke the fabrics. It's just the law, sorry.
Yeah, it's essential.
It is. And with this one, we've put orange. I don't even have to explain why, do I?
No.
Look at that.
But I mean, if you bought the 2 sets.
Yeah. I mean, just to put in your stash and stroke, I'll be honest.
That's lovely.
There's a place for that, isn't there?
Absolutely.
There's a place for just having them.
Absolutely beautiful. I just love that.
There are certain fabrics that I have to have for the
Odil's
artwork.
artistry is just...
Well, she is an artist, and it
Yes.
shows, doesn't it? You know, they're just lovely.
It's the detail. And Inga and I, when we had the large velvets, we were cutting it, and every time we cut it, we found something else within the patterns, and we were like,
exactly what I was going to say.
We were just
with Odile,
lovely.
her fabrics are they keep on giving, don't they?
Absolutely.
You take your eyes away and you look at them again, and you say, how have I not seen these before? Just having a quick look at YouTube. We don't want to forget you guys, YouTubers. It says, good morning, wonderful quilt idea. We'll catch up later after more science with the granddaughter. Ali's granddaughter has left her homework that she should have been doing over the entire summer until the very last minute, Jane.
Oh no.
I know, literally the last couple of days. So Granny Ali has come to the rescue and is helping her. She says,
God,
50
I bet Mum
years.
was pulling her.
Oh yeah, 50 years since I did all this. Oh, Ali, you're a good sport, I tell you. Look at this one.
I don't think I'd be much help with science if that was my granddaughter.
No, I know, right? This here.
I love the strawberry thief. I can't even say it.
I don't think any of us are capable of speaking.
Just lost all sense of everything.
Yeah.
But that's such a classic print. Look at that. That would make a stunning cushion.
It is a classics print, but with this fabulous colourway to it as well. These beautiful pinks and greens in there. It's really fabulous, isn't it?
It's sort of like a modern twist on the classic, isn't it? Because it's got a bit more vibrancy to the colours.
Yeah, for perspective, you can see my hand and you can see the size of the print.
But Gemma's only got diddy hands. We've got her hand and my hand compared to Gemma's.
But they all, you get mini strawberry thief and you get strawberry thief, and this is the size that you're looking at here. But you can see on the mat as well. Hang on.
Yeah.
She says, there's your inches.
Yeah.
So that gives you an idea of scale. We're nothing if not thorough, Jane. We do like to be helpful. But this one, we just felt that pink was absolutely superb with it. I've got a feeling, just double check.
Is it blush?
I was going to say that, but you watch us both be wrong. Should we have a peep? Oh, we're better than we thought. Here we go.
We know
blush.
our colours.
We do. So, as we say, those will go live at midnight tonight for those of you who want to purchase the Half Metre Heavens. Some of the fabrics you might still find a little bit on the bolt. That last Strawberry Thief there is chocolate. That's the colourway. It was from the Thameside collection.
Yes.
All of those plains you can buy by the half metre at any time. So if you buy a Half Metre Heaven and it arrives, I mean, I'd always be tempted, if you've used those, stick a sticker on them to remind you which colour plain it was.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you've used it, nibble a bit off. It's really useful to have a swatch. But if you get a plain and you go, oh, I really love this colour, I'd use it with lots of things, or pull your stash out at that point, see what your plain goes with, and if you've got items in your stash and you think, this one's a godsend, you can buy a half metre, a metre, 3/4 of a metre. We have people order 8 metres. You contact us, pop it through on the website, we'll sort that out for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
There are just staples that you need. How many times do you start a project and you go, I could have just done with 1.5 metres of,
yes,
or,
absolutely.
So,
yeah,
it's always worth knowing. Here we go, look at this. That Strawberry Thief was lovely with the blush. Well, we thought so too.
Yes, we loved it.
We thought so too. It's asking me if I want to send us stars. Come on, mate, I need to do that.
We send ourselves stars.
Oh,
do that.
Auntie Lizzie's got the cracking humour as usual.
Yes.
She says there's not much room left on that Odile fabric.
We can rely on times, Lizzie.
There's nothing to be said, Auntie Lizzie. Nothing to be said. Colette's with us as well. She says, morning Gemma and Jane. It's lovely to see you this morning. It's lovely to have you with us as well.
Yes,
Colette.
it is. It is lovely to be here.
And I can get lazy now because we have fabulous wares and makes.
Now, we've got here, we haven't got the right quantity of black and white in this kit because I was like, oh yeah, that'll be plenty. And then when I started making it was like, no, we need more than that. So the kits have got the right amount of white and black with them.
You were like, oh, well, I only need a skiddly bit, and then went, oh no.
Well, when I started, you see, I realised that will do, those 2.5 metres will do the big one. But then I thought, actually, you can get more out of this.
And that was the thing. It's all part of the design process. But being organised as you are, right at the very inception of designing, you cut the kits.
Yes.
You put them all neatly for me because I could load them and have everything. It's what we do. We have a whole process that
goes on over
the course of weeks.
Yes.
And while you're fanning, I'll just, explain.
Because I just love...
she loves fanning.
Folding the fabrics out. Look at that. That's beautiful.
But yeah, so these were beautifully cut and then a little small. But in the interests
of...
These will be bigger.
Demonstration purposes, you can see the colours that you get in the kit.
There we go.
You are going to get... This is the rainbow one. The ombres are stunning. V&Co from for Moda. Look at these. Look at that. It's got gold metallic on it.
Oh, I do think
which shimmers.
I don't know whether the close-up shows it better. Should we try?
We'll try it.
Let's
give it a go.
Oh, I think it does. Look at this. There you go.
You can see that metallic there. It's got a lovely shimmer to it. It's not. It's subtle. It's a subtle metallic.
It is. It's gorgeous.
But just adds a level of luxury to your fabric, which is really pretty.
Closer, whether it makes any difference as well. There we are.
But that beautiful ombre is just.
They're gorgeous, aren't they?
And some of them are slightly darker.
And the speckle through it.
In the middle, and some are slightly lighter. So you get a really lovely shading of all the colours. I've gone with classic rainbow, Richard of Orange, go battle in vain with a bit of pink on the end, which isn't part of the rhyme. But that's the rainbow one. You get 10 long quarters. You do. Which is more or less the equivalent of a jelly roll. Yes. Yes. If you cut it into 2.5 inch, you get 40 2.5 inch which strips from that. So that's... I also mentioned that in the pattern that if you've got a jelly roll that you love but you're not really sure what to do with, this would be a good way of using it. This is one of those patterns that actually have it in your stash, you'll be able to use that, won't you? You'll get a metre of white. You'll get a metre of white. Come on now. It's not doing what I'm asking it to do, Jane. You see me pressing the buttons. I can see you frantically pressing the buttons. I am pressing the buttons. You'll actually get a metre of white and a metre and a quarter of the black. Just a little bit more of black because I've factored in you wanting to bind the larger quilt if you wanted to make the quilt. So you'll be able to make, Jane, the fronts of your project. Yes. And you'll be able to bind your large one. Your quilt / wall hanging. Yes. With a kit that should price up at nearly £60 and that I've put out today at $49.99. Gemma, I'm going to get into such trouble. Oh, it's fine. I've proportioned a percentage of the fabrics for this, so it is an introductory price. Is it today only? I've set a certain amount on it. Yes. And if we have to put more quantity on, I can't promise I can do it at the same price because we've got to make some money on the fabric somewhere. Oh yes, I need my wages, please. Thank you. Yeah, I know, right? We all do. Yes. Oh no, these as much as we love doing this job, and we would do it for nothing. Of course we would. There are overheads. This I have called the cool option. Look at that. And they are like the sea colours. You've got mauves through to blues, turquoises through to like a sea green. And again, you know, the ombres on this are just fabulous. I love the quality. I love the quality of Moda fabric. It goes without saying. It's one of the top quality fabrics. The base cloth is fabulous. It's quite a close woven one, which works beautifully and has a nice finish to it. And those ombres with the metallics are just luxurious. If you're going to quilt, you know Moda's going to serve you well, don't you? It works. You know, you've got the stability of that. It's a nice weave that's not loose, that's not going to stretch and distort too much, and it's just fabulous to work with. So that's the cool option. And again, you get 10 long quarters in all these beautiful colours. you can see...
so that's like 2.5 metres.
Yeah.
2.5 metres that has been chopped for you.
Chopped for you, yeah.
If you had to buy 10 different colours otherwise, that'd be 10 different half metres. That would be a different proposition altogether.
And then this is what I've called the warm.
Oh.
You can see behind me we've got more colours than are actually in these.
We have.
Because we've got such a... Well, we bought the... I think Natasha bought the whole collection, didn't she?
I have loaded these up by the half metre as well, for those of you who, you know, you might see one of the fabrics and think, oh, I'll back it with that.
There you are, there's the warm. So we go through golds, through to peaches, nice salmony pinks, through to this lovely rich fuchsia.
Lovely.
And again, look at this ombre in that. The beauty of ombres is that you can use one width of fabric and you've got all the shading. So you could actually create a block from one width of fabric, you know.
Yeah.
You could cut certain elements from different areas and create some beautiful things. So even if you didn't want to have a go with this pattern, having this fabric in your stash is really going to boost your stash. Right, so shall we get on with some demonstrating?
Oh, now I have some breaking news.
Uh-oh.
I love it. Natasha's just posted on one of our group chats to say, this is going on. Is there any way Gemma could perhaps let everyone know? Yeah, I've seen it. That's fine. We've got a big cave order on its way. The new cave is en route to us.
Ooh,
and
exciting.
I've had a sneaky peek of this. I can hear a shouting of good morning. If you go through to the other office, we're live on air at the moment. Someone will help you. You know,
deliveries coming in.
It's how life is, isn't it? I don't think he's our big cave order. He looked like he got a little package there for us, but nothing, you know. Nothing that was going to float our boat like a great big, huge amount of cave. I love it. SJ's just gone, sorry.
Bless her.
What I like to say is I've made an enormous sign that goes on the door that says, deliveries to goods in, goods out, please proceed. And there's even a map.
Yes.
With a lorry and arrows and a you are here and you need to be here on it. But he's gone past that door.
Yeah, it's gone and opened that door with the sign in front of it. Morning.
We're nothing if not real, are we?
No, good that it's live.
But yes, we're going to let you guys know first, though, because you are watching, that cave is on its way. It's going to be here imminently, which means I'm going to be like this, getting it all loaded up with and making
piles
sure
of fabric
it's there.
Around her.
I've already started preloading, but yes, if it is the new cave you're looking for, we're going to have it imminently.
Yeah.
Exciting stuff.
Lovely.
Exciting stuff. Oh, Auntie Lizzie's very cheekily said, no maths today then, Gemma. I did do some maths, actually. This, you know, this is
lots of maths
rather
going
fabulous discount. I appreciate. However, it's not, you know, going to destroy us just yet. But we like to treat, don't we, Jane?
We do.
We do like to treat. And I hope when you see a fabulously discounted bundle that you enjoy it, appreciate it. And, you know, makes you love it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Which is all for the good.
Yeah, absolutely.
We had the most beautiful letter.
We all love a bargain. We grab a bargain whenever we can.
We do. And I had the most beautiful letter from a customer yesterday that sort of catalogued the time that she's been watching Natasha over her career and said just how much of a difference we've made to her life and how she chooses to buy from us because she loves the items that we bring, the quality that we bring, and the fact that we're a lifeline, really.
Yeah, and we don't... I think we're quite open and honest with our stuff, and I know Natasha will only bring stuff to air that she loves and wants to use.
Yeah.
You know, we just, you know, we don't get things sent to us and say, promote this for us. Natasha researches and finds stuff, and if she likes it, she brings it to show you, which I think is lovely. No,
exactly, and that's so important to us. But for those of you who love watching us and choose to, you know, put your money in our till, thank you, because, you know, it's hugely appreciated.
It is.
Hugely appreciated. Oh, we have lovely messages. Lovely messages. Will there be a download for the pattern, please, says Kirsty. I think you must have missed the start of the show. Yes, there will. Later today. No
We're just running a little bit behind.
Oh, she's got some jelly rolls perfect for this.
Yeah.
Chris Cresswell's with us. She says, morning, Jane and Gemma.
Morning, Chris.
Oh, yes. Morning from North Devon. Late as usual, says Rosina.
Right. Let's start at the beginning. It's a very good place to start, as Julie Andrews says. I cut from my long quarter. For the large quilt, I'm going to demonstrate the middle size one, just because of size. From my long quarter for the large quilt, I cut 3 2.5-inch strips. Now, our long quarters are cut at 10 inches. We try to cut them as straight as we can, but sometimes they're not straight on the bolt, which sort of sets it off slightly. So even with trimming, you'll still be able to get the 3 projects. For the middle size, so I've cut, from my long quarter, I've cut 3 2.5-inch strips. That's the large quilt middle, spool middle part of it sorted. What is left is about 2.5 inches left of that long quarter. So for the middle size, I cut a 1.5-inch strip of each colour. And then you'll have about an inch left.
A skiddly bit.
For the pincushion part. Yes. Now, I thought, oh, well, some of them aren't going to be quite an inch. Well, it doesn't matter, because I think that will add to the effect.
Yeah, for a little wonky donkey, it doesn't matter
too much. No. And in fact, that probably adds to the effect of it. So that's how my mind worked. And then I was thinking, well, it started with the jelly roll race. Natasha had shown me a picture of something similar on the internet. I think it was Pinterest or somewhere. And she said to me, can we do something like this? And I looked at it and I said, well, the middle of that looks like when you do a jelly roll race quilt. Now, there'll be some of you that know about jelly roll race quilts, and some of you are going, what are you talking about, Jane? Jelly roll race quilts are really good fun, and they have, a lot of the guilds in America started this, and they would have a guild meeting, and they would all bring a jelly roll, and the chairperson of the guild would go, right, on your marks, get set, go. And you would take your jelly roll and you would take each strip, join it together. So you had a massive miles of 2.5-inch wide fabric, lengths of it. You take the 2 ends, join them together, sew it together in pairs, snip up the fold, take the ends again. And you keep going until you've got it to the width that you want it to be. And it generally makes sort of like a single size quilt.
Yeah.
You get fabulous results. Originally, it was just joined end to end for quickness. Mm-hmm. And then somebody said, well, what happens if you join it with the 45 degree like you do when you do your binding?
Yeah.
And it brings this element here.
Yeah.
I've also seen where people have taken a contrast fabric and cut a 2.5-inch square.
Right.
And joined their strips with the square in between.
Okay.
So you get like a square
all around,
dotted around.
Okay.
There's some really lovely variations of a jelly roll race. So if you Google jelly roll race, you'll see that. It's quite interesting.
So what you're saying, Jane, is we showed you something and we said something like this, and then you took another idea and you pulled that into it, and then we all said, well, actually, I want it this size, and I want it that size, and I want it this size, and you went, right, okay, and you had to go away and pull all these different experiences and ways of doing things and amalgamate it into one fabulous thing.
Pretty much, and that's quite often what I do. I'll start with one idea, and then somebody will say something, and I'll think, oh, well, does that, and it all comes together.
Auntie Lizzie's asking.
It very rarely starts. It very rarely finishes the same way it started.
No, totally. And
we're all like that, aren't we, when we're designing stuff? You start with an idea and you work it through.
All the time. Auntie Lizzie says, have you done a jelly roll race, Jane? I don't know whether we've done one as a instruction, have we?
No. I don't think you need an instruction as such.
This is it.
This is the instruction.
Yeah, this is the instruction. So there you go. That's what you need.
I'm a bit precious about my jelly rolls. I'm a bit like, I didn't want to do that with mine.
No, you stroke them, don't you, a lot, and don't really do much with them.
I have several that are just there for decorative purposes.
Stacked up and looking beautiful. There's lots of people saying that the cave should just be redirected to their house. Chris is asking why I'm not singing. A bit early.
There's time
I do most of the day. Most of the day. Chris says it sounds fascinating, Jane. And now Vicky's saying that new cave is really bad news for her plans of trying to economise a bit. Vicky, it's exceptionally bad news because I've previewed these. I've seen.
Yes, we've seen them.
The florals, which I think most people know. Sorry, Kate and Brandon, if you happen to be watching. Philip's my favourite. Yeah. I absolutely adore Philip's florals, and
we love Philip's florals, and we love Kate's colourways of them because he is so imaginative.
The genius that comes together
The collective is
phenomenal.
Just fabulous.
Don't get me wrong, within that collection there are some stripes, which I want all of them, because for borders and they are just so versatile.
I love a stripy binding.
Yes, and these stripes are going to be absolutely the very, very, very best thing you can get for a binding. I'm so excited about those. There's another, I don't want to go into it too much, but there's another fabric that you'd consider a blender, although that's always offensive, and that's it. That's Kaffe or Brandon, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But for me, whenever I get a Kaffe collection coming in, Kaffe Fassett collective collection coming in, first thing I do is go, where's Philip's Florals? Vicky, there are a lot of really amazing, stunning florals in this collection.
There's bought some classic prints that we've had before, but in different colourways, and the colourways are beautiful.
Yes. And some new ones as well. So it's brilliant. Once you get Philip's design and Kaffe's colour and you put those together, there's some kind of magic happens.
And a bit of Brandon's quirky humour.
Exactly. And
which is just, well, we've said before, this is why it's a collective, because they work so beautifully together.
Exactly, but I know Vicky is like me. In the first place she'll look is those florals. So yes, I'm really sorry. I know you're economising, but no.
No.
Oh, Margaret's with us. She says, I'm here, but recent thunderstorm is making the broadband dodgy. Sorry, Margaret.
I've got Sky, and I was watching mine the other day, and it went off, and I was like, oh no, what's happened? And the message came on, due to extreme weather conditions.
Oh.
And I was like, it's only raining heavily. What's wrong with you?
Sort yourself out, we're in Britain.
Satellite dish, goodness me.
Oh, how funny. Oh, Elizabeth wondered if you'd ever taken part in a jelly roll race.
Oh no, Lizzie, I haven't. I've never done that. I'm just thinking that might be something we could do with our guild.
Hey,
right.
It'd be fun, wouldn't it? Be really fun.
Let's talk about joining these strips together.
Good-o.
So you'll have cut all your strips. You'll see in the pattern, I've done it the wall hanging first, because that's the largest one, and I've gone into, as I do with my patterns, how you then sandwich it, quilt it, then bind it. And then after that, you'll see how to do the cushion fronts. If you want to do them into cushions, you could make them into little wall hangings. You could make several, you could do them all that size, and you could make several of them and make them smaller blocks to make a quilt with. And then I go into the pin cushion, and again, you'll be able to make more than one pin cushion front. So you might want to make double-sided. You might want to make 4. I think you can get 4 from the one piece. I'll show you as we go on. You might want to make 4 pin cushions and give some to a friend. You might want to make a little wall hanging with 4 spool blocks. There's lots of options there, but I've just done each size to make the cushion fronts or the pin cushions.
Marvellous.
So there we go.
Marvellous, marvellous.
So the principle of this, the main part is that spool part, which I said is based on the jelly roll race. And as I said, I've joined these together as I would my binding with a 45-degree seam. There's nothing to stop you just joining them edge to edge with a straight seam, placing them right sides together, 1/4 inch seam. I would suggest you press your seam open just to reduce bulk. That's the only reason. And then you carry on and you keep going. You can decide how you want your strips to be. I've sort of ombre'd mine within the ombre. You might want to have different colours next to each other. You will find when you come to do it, and you'll have probably noticed on mine, you get several times you'll get colours together in a block.
Yeah.
So although I started off with a rainbow starting red, orange, yellow, it doesn't follow that when I've joined them together.
Okay.
So it's a bit sort of, if you like things orderly,
yes,
jelly races don't quite work. Because it takes a lot of working out where you're going to get ones next to each other.
Okay.
So for the 45-degree seam, I place my fabrics with horizontal right side facing up, vertical in the corner, right side facing down. I then take the 45-degree line on my ruler.
Is that up, Jane? That looks like the right side.
No, it is. You can tell on these because you've got the metallic.
Of course.
I did do it a few times.
It's so beautiful, isn't it?
You could use it in reverse and
really
nobody would notice.
On that dark end, it looks so pigmented, doesn't it?
It does.
Gorgeous.
Now, I'm making continuous strip, so I want the line to fall from the top left-hand side to the bottom right. So if I place my 45-degree line on the bottom of my ruler, of the bottom of the strip, and slide it across until it's in the corner of the two strips, and then just mark my line across there. And we're going to sew on that line. You may wish to pin it. We've got the pin cushion, Gems.
Yes. There you go.
There we are. Particularly when you've got long width of fabric strips, they do move, so it is a good idea to pin them just as you take them to the sewing machine. And I would pin either side of the line just to hold it in place, because it does like to move. And then we sew on the line. So needle in the middle, sew on the line along that marked line.
Look at those strips all there together. They look beautiful,
don't they?
Semi-delicious, to be fair.
So then once you've sewn on the line, you're then just going to trim that corner off 1/4 inch away from your sewn line.
Chris is saying she likes the random effect. It's magic as it unfurls.
Well, I think, you know, you'll get a different effect each time depending on what you decide to, you know, how you decide to have your strips. That was me just knocking the spray starch there. Press your seam open. Now in this process, I just finger pressed it open.
I've got the iron here if you want me to.
I think because there's so much of it, you just spend a lot of time ironing if you are...
Unless you've got someone next to you who
can do that.
Just pressing while you're doing the other end.
So then you take that strip that you've just sewn on, which was your vertical strip, that then becomes your horizontal strip, and you take your next fabric and you do exactly the same thing again. So right sides together, horizontal, vertical, and you're marking your seam. 45-degree line on the bottom of the strip, slide it along. I can just bring this down a wee bit.
There you go.
There we are. I like it to sit in the corner. This is probably the most time-consuming part of it, is marking all those strips and doing it. Now for the large one, obviously I got 3 times because I've cut 3 2.5 inch wide strips. So there's a lot of fabric when you do the large one. It's a huge amount of fabric. There's miles of it. Try not to get it wrapped around your chair leg, which is what I did and wondered why it wouldn't move.
Oh, Jane. This is why it's important to try and have a clean floor, isn't it?
Yeah.
I suppose the other thing when you're joining these is to make sure you're smoothing out each strip so that you don't end up flipping one the wrong way and having your seam the wrong way up.
Keep an eye on it to make sure that it is in the right orientation as well.
I have done that while joining binding strips before. Yeah, it makes you so cross, doesn't it?
It's so frustrating.
Really frustrating. So yeah, top tip there, just make sure they're all laid out
keeping them straight.
Everything's sitting the same way.
So we do the same there. Press that open, and then you've got, and to save time, I'm not going to do the whole lot, but you've got this great big long length of fabric. All your strips joined together. Now this is just for the cushion size, so there's one of each colour. Now you can imagine, I've got all of this for that, how much you have when you do the spool, the quilt one.
Yeah, the big one, yeah.
It's miles of it. Comes out, it's like working with streamers, goes everywhere. So you've got
very glamorous streamers.
Long length of fabric, you put your 2 ends right sides together. Now an important little tip here, and ask me how I know, run it down through your fingers to make sure that they stay right sides together.
I was just about to say to you, do you have to check there's no twists?
Yeah.
Right.
Because if you sew it and you come to the end and it's all twisted, it's very frustrating. It's easily fixed because you just snip through it, but it's like, oh. So just take the time to run your fingers through. Now, I'm going to sew this first seam, but we've got a bit of a Blue Peter going on because you can imagine how long this part takes as well. So I'm just going to do...
Nothing's horrendously complicated here, is it?
It's mindful sewing.
Yeah,
you can just lose yourself in this part. It literally is taking it, cutting it through, turning it and bringing it back together.
Nice.
So I'm going to quickly whiz, she says. Make sure you've got your 1/4 inch seam back on, because obviously you were sewing down the line before. Now you need to have your 1/4 inch.
Okay.
Just turn the stitch length up a wee bit.
Now Vicky's saying that she struggles with random outcomes because she might be a bit of a control freak, but she's giving some thought to some slightly alternative ways of doing things with these bundles, and absolutely, go for it. Yeah. We are not going to be checking what you use your 10 long quarters and chunky piece of white and chunky piece of black for.
No. I won't be coming round and making sure that you've done what I've told you to do.
And actually, if she did, and you showed her you'd done something different, she'd go, "Ooh, what have you done?"
Yeah, I'd be very interested.
She would be really interested.
Let me see.
Actually, some of the things we really love to see is when you've bought a fabric bundle from us that we've had an intention for, and you've done something different with it. We get that on the Community Makes page.
Absolutely.
And Vicky's done a lot of this, actually, for someone who's just started sewing, where she said, well, I like this, but I'm a little bit OCD and I wanted to do X, Y and Z with it. And she's shown us, and it's great. We love it. And those of you who share this, thank you very much.
This is quite noisy because I'm whizzing, because it does take quite a while.
I tell you, it's a little workhorse, this Dukey.
It's fabulous.
Jane's using the DX7 today, which is our little pocket rocket. Love this one.
So it's lovely and straight, even when it's going super whizzing.
Do you know, I've got my NX7, but I still am tempted to have a DX as well. If nothing else, it's more portable than my NX.
I was going to say that it's great for workshops.
Well, and caravans.
Yeah, absolutely.
I keep saying I can't take the NX7 in the caravan. I've got a very
take up the whole of your
tiny caravan. It would have to go under an entire seat. And even then I'd be like, it's a big old beast to be lugging around.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not easy to carry the NX around. It's not a portable machine.
Whereas the DX has been all over the place with us, hasn't it?
Yeah.
This and the Mini Beast, they get thrown around and moved all over the place and used everywhere. In Jane's room, because Jane has a room, a little work room.
Yeah.
Jane's little corner. She has the UX8. And the UX8 is the all singing, all dancing, fancy pants one.
It's
with
beautiful.
the YouTube on it and all of that.
Yeah. I feel I don't do it justice because I just straight stitch on it, but I love it.
It does it well.
Because it's got a longer, it's got a wider throat.
Yes.
And it really is super whizzy. And it's got the integrated walking foot in it, which is just amazing.
It's fab, isn't it?
I love
it. The NX has that too. Because I remember saying to you, I was like, I need to use walking foot. And you were like, all you've got to do is press a button. What?
You're literally pulling something down the back of it.
And it pulls something down at the back and it all pops up. Pardon?
Yeah. There's no fiddling trying to unscrew it and then rescrew it and all of that. It's just beautiful machine. This is such fun, isn't it? Look at it.
Whiz, 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 whiz. I love how the fabric, actually I'm going to go to close up because I love how this fabric, as you're sewing, is just creating that beautiful shape behind that foot there. Look at it. Oh. Gorgeous.
It's like ice cream, isn't it?
You know
when you get the ice cream machine at the Pizza Hut.
Jane, it's not even 11 a.m. and we're talking about food.
Oh, don't.
Always the same, aren't we? I was just thinking it's like patisserie when you see those layers that are created.
Millefeuille.
Or the edge of a Viennetta.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh no. Why is it all about food with us?
You can see now I'm coming to the end where the fold is, and I'm literally just going to sew off the end where it's folded.
Oh, Jimmy said you could make a pin cushion using the scraps in the design. Jimmy, the kit does a quilt and a cushion and a pin cushion. It's amazing.
Yeah,
it's a brilliant bundle, and it does all three for us. Do you want overhead, lovely? Or?
Yes, please.
Yeah, let's go there then.
So you can see it's come into the fold. There's a join there. What I did think was, you might want to vary where the joins meet, you might want to cut a little bit off your leading strip and sew it onto your end strip, just to add a variety. But you'll get to the fold and you literally slip your scissors in and you cut through it. And it doesn't matter if you don't, if it's not straight, because you're going to, so you've got a paired strips. So then you take your pairs and you can decide now which side you want to sew. So you could either sew those two colours together, or you could sew those two colours together.
Beautiful.
So you carry on, and again, just take your strip down. You might want to press it open. I didn't press mine until I got to the end. I carried on, but it is with the 1.5, it's a little bit fiddly because they're quite close together. But again, just run your fingers down and make sure you haven't got that twist at the end. So you carry on, you'll sew all the way down that one, you'll get to the fold, you cut through it, so then you've got 4 strips sewn together. You take it round again and you carry on.
What fun.
It's really good fun, it really is. So you end up
making new fabric, basically, aren't you?
You're making a piece of fabric.
Sorry, so I've got to go overhead.
I carried on until this is, what is it? It's 26-ish wide.
Give it here, Jane. Give it here. Crumping. Mine.
Yeah.
Look at it.
A bit crumpled. But isn't that lovely? This is the warm.
I love
collection.
The panel that you've created here. I mean, to just follow the instructions you've given, and end up with this to be able to use for a bag front or anything.
Yeah, I mean, you can do anything you like with this. You could just cut it into squares and sash it and make it into a quilt.
This is fab. Really, really
this
fab.
Is just,
Imagine that as a beach bag.
You're just recreating fabric. I mean, you could put that together like that, sew down the sides, add a lining, put handles around it.
This is...
Thank you very much.
Yeah, this is the instruction to grab, because we've all kept 2.5-inch strips of fabric, or just bits that aren't big enough to do anything with.
Is 1.5 inches.
Yeah. So strips of fabric. I mean, actually, that's something that
I've done. And this is only one strip. So if you wanted to cut all of your long quarter into 1.5-inch strips, you'd end up with a mass. Yeah. But you'd create a beautiful piece of fabric.
How many times do you have a project and you end up with like a width of fabric strip like that just...
And it doesn't matter.
It's not big enough to do anything with. I'm never going to...
And it doesn't matter if it's not straight.
No.
So if you've got like that end that starts off at 2 inches and then goes down to 1.5 inches, sew those together. So it'll just give you a little bit of a wonky.
This is all in the back of my head now. This is one of those patterns to hang on to just for this part of the technique. And then you can make new panels of fabric. I'd make these up and then put them in my stash.
Yeah, just have them.
Because if you needed to make, like you say, a wash bag or a
quick gift for a teacher or a friend, it's just there, isn't it? Ready to go.
But you're making use of the fabric.
And it's also, a lovely way to use up your scraps.
I'm never throwing anything away ever again. This is extraordinarily dangerous. Yeah. Because normally when I've got a strip that wide and I think if it's big enough to be binding at some point and I know what colour it is, I'll label it and put it in a box. Yeah. I'll cut it into 2.5-inch strips and I'll pop it in a box.
Yeah.
But, oh dear.
Yes.
Now even the skinnier bits we can use.
So
this pattern.
This makes the cushion front. So I've carried on sewing it until I get to approximately a 26-inch piece. Now you can see this is wonky. I will just trim that up and then I will literally cut it in half. There is no... I've given you measurements in my pattern, but I do tell you to measure your piece of fabric before you go to the next stage, because everybody's seam allowance is slightly different. Doesn't matter. You can work this pattern to fit your piece of fabric.
Beautiful.
But I'm just going to cut this now at 13. So we're pretending I'm cutting it in half. It's slightly.
If it's only pretending, we're good.
But it's 13. So you can see, we need a new blade in this.
We do.
You can see how you would get two cushion fronts, or a front and back, or a little wall hanging. You could make one for yourself, one for a friend. That's going to be a bobbin, spool, reel, whatever you want to call it.
I'd frame a panel like this and put it on my wall.
I love it. I'm loving this warm option. I just think the colours are stunning.
Yeah.
So, as I said, just measure your piece. You're going to cut 2 strips of black. I didn't just cut this. I didn't
Would you like me to press it
please?
for you,
Press it, Gemma.
Press it, Gemma, please. You've used the bit, haven't you? Off the,
yeah, I use the end of the bolt. That's lovely. Thank you. And we're going to do this border, sew it to the top and the bottom. And this is, so I've used black, but you could use brown. If you've got a fabric that's got like a bit of a texture to it, like a wood grain type texture, that'd look lovely, wouldn't it? If you were doing
really
a spool.
Lovely.
Would you mind pressing those squares
Of course
as well,
I can.
please?
That's what I'm here for.
So I'm going to sew this now to the top and bottom of my piece of fabric.
Come on, camera. Come on, do your thing. Multitasking I am.
Yes.
Multitasking.
Like you haven't got enough
I'm
to
double
do.
pressing the button because that normally works. There we go. Double tap. I literally did that stroppily one day where I just bashed the button on there, you know, a couple of times.
Yes.
Crossly. And I discovered there's a different way of changing the cameras over.
Oh, that's good.
But when the other way doesn't work, tap it with a bit of a strop, and apparently it does as it's told.
It's funny that.
Who knew? Who knew that was a thing?
So we're sewing this to the top and the bottom of our spool, and this technique is the same. The sizes are different for your spool, top and bottom, but the technique is exactly the same.
Lovely.
So whatever size spool block you're making, you do exactly the same thing.
Karen's saying that she often uses scraps to make new fabric, not just strips, but all sorts of scraps.
Yes, it's called crumb quilting.
Yeah. Well, and we've been talking about this, haven't we? That might be something we have to bring to air at some point. Wouldn't that be fabulous?
That would be rather lovely. So we cut from the same size piece of fabric that we've used for the top and bottom. We cut the same size in squares. Depending on which project you're doing, depends on the size of the square. And we're going to mark the diagonal on there, corner to corner. You need 4 of these squares per one spool. So if you're doing the 2 cushion fronts, you'll need 8.
Oh, Karen's saying your new piece of fabric looks like a sunset. It would be lovely with an applique design on it. She's so right.
You could.
And Jenny says it would look lovely with some black applique, like an Australian landscape.
Yeah, absolutely. You could do giraffes or elephants or
phenomenal,
a tree or
wouldn't
anything,
it?
couldn't you?
Absolutely gorgeous. But these ombres are just amazing for that.
Yeah. And like the cool one that looks a little bit like the sea. So
yes.
you could applique fishes,
whales and
all sorts into there.
Amazing.
Thank you, Gemma, for doing
It's
that.
all right, my love, no problem.
So now I've put that top and bottom on, I'm going to just measure that to find the length of my fabric. Now that's coming out, you can see it's a little bit concertinaed because I probably didn't press it as well as I should have done, but it's 21.5. So I'm now going to cut from my white 2 strips at 21.5. I've already, so this is my strip folded in half as it comes off the bolt. I've trimmed the selvage off, I'm lining that up with the cut edge, and it so happens that I can get my 21.5 out of one width of fabric.
Wonderful. For anyone who's getting very confused by the numbers that are running across the bottom that don't say 21.5, the 21.5 is at the top and Jane can see it.
Yes, it's upside down, isn't it?
It's upside down for you.
So we've got 2 strips now that are the length, the width, whatever way you want to do, of my fabric. I'm going to place my square on the end of that strip. Now I need to be sure that my diagonal line is running, as I'm looking at my strip, I want it running from the bottom right hand side to the top left, so that the diagonal line comes into the middle of the edge of the strip, so that when I take that triangle back, it reforms the strip like that, and then you can see how that will then go onto there to form that edge.
So this is your spool on its side currently?
Yes, just so it fits into camera correctly. So I'm just going to pin that square into that corner there on both sides. And I will do the same with the other one. So the diagonal lines are going in towards the middle.
So they're running from the bottom outer
towards the middle.
Sort of top inner. Got you.
It's very difficult sometimes to try and explain, and as Gemma will tell you, I get my right and my left mixed up when I'm writing patterns.
Yeah, but you just do that, Jane, to keep me on my toes. We've had this discussion.
Just to check that she's reading them.
Yeah, when I started proofreading for Jane, I mean, I only started quilting in 2018. I'd sewn forever, really, but quilting was still relatively new for me when I came to Natasha Makes, because I'd started quilting in 2018, but I'd not gone beyond sewing pre-cut squares together. Or actually, to be fair, I had cut some squares and sewn them together, but that was it. I hadn't done any half square triangles or any shapes or deviated at all. So when I started at Natasha Makes, I started proofreading for Jane, testing the patterns, and it was really to kind of up my skills.
Yes.
And it meant that if I could make sense of the patterns, we knew that all of you would be able to make sense of the patterns.
It's like we were saying earlier, isn't it? We want it aimed so that anybody picking it up for the first time who's never done patchwork before will be able to pick up our instructions and understand them.
Sure. And there were times where I'd say to you, Jane, I'm not sure what that means. And you were like, okay, fair enough. Well, we can pop that in there and, you know,
let's
explain a little more or
put a bit more in there.
But yeah, there have been times where I've gone left, right, left, right. Yeah. And every time Jane's like, oh, because she hates it when she gets something wrong. And I always say she's just trying to, you know,
just
test that I'm reading it properly.
So
look at this.
I sewed on the line and I've trimmed 1/4 inch away from that line to basically cut the corner off.
Great.
And you could do that thing where you measure 1/2 inch from that line and sew both lines, and then you've got your half square triangle already sewn.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it's a way of preventing wastage.
Hang on to those, pop them in a little box, because there's always a use for some half square triangles. Always.
Yeah, and then we're going to press those back to reform that strip. So would you mind doing that, Gemma, while I sew the other?
Absolutely fine.
The
I
other
can
two
do that
on
for you. No problem. This is very satisfying.
This is a lovely make. Doing the jelly roll raised style centre is quite mindful because there's not much skill involved in that really, and that sounds a bit condescending, doesn't it? Saying there's not much skill involved in that, but it's a nice bit of mindful sewing.
A little sneaky peek,
you know, and I think there's something quite satisfying about sewing strips.
Yeah,
constant sewing, and you don't have to worry too much about it as long as you keep it nice and straight and keep your seam allowance quite accurate. You're not going to go wrong with it, and I think that's what makes this a nice project for beginners to try, because there's, you know, even if you do have your seams a little bit, you know, inconsistent or whatever, it's not going to be detrimental to the pattern. You haven't got seams to match or points to match or anything like that. So it's, you know, it's going to go together quite nicely and quite quickly.
Marvellous.
Right, let's just trim those off.
Chop the corners off again. Brilliant. Look at that. It's just amazing how quickly it comes together, isn't it? It's those sewing of strips that you sort of...
The sewing of the strips.
That's the time-consuming bit.
I think the time-consuming bit is joining the strips together.
Yes.
Using that 45-degree seam. And as I said, if you don't want to do that, you can do it edge to edge. There's no law that says that you must. I just quite like the effect of that.
Just your serving suggestion, isn't it? That's all it is.
There's so many patterns out there for similar blocks. It's a classic block, the bobbin block is. It's you know, it's one of those that's been out there since probably the 1920s. I think it's one of the more modern classic blocks.
But you've put
The jelly roll race again is something that, you know, it's been going on for quite a while, since the beginning of jelly rolls, I think, which was sort of like end of the early 90s, I think the jelly roll started. So you can see we've got those now. We're going to sew those to our sides of our bobbin block. You may want to pin it. You know me, I just slam it together.
Throw it through.
Just get it on there.
Oh, come on, cameras. They're testing my patience today, Jane. That close-up cam does not want to play. There it is. Oh, Chris says, I'm quite a newbie, as Jane knows, and I love the patterns. They're so clear and helpful.
Well, that's good to
Chris,
know.
I'm so glad you love them. A lot of time goes into those.
Yeah. It takes a big chunk of, you know...
Yeah, it's a lot
not
of
only my
resources.
time writing them, but then Gemma's time proofreading them and making them into the pattern format.
Yeah.
I don't give them to Gemma in the way that you see them. Bless her. She gets a Word document and a load of images and I go put that together.
Which did we ever think we'd be at that stage where I'd be able to do that? But you know, it's
amazing.
It's what we do, isn't it now?
Yeah.
It's great, but it upskills me as well. And I've written some patterns along the way, not any quilt ones yet, admittedly. But
there's time yet, mind you.
There's time yet.
There's probably not time for Gemma, because Gemma does just about everything, so...
Oh, I did chuckle when Tash came up with Office Octopus as my latest title. I'm not sure that can ever go on my CV.
I think it's a good job title.
It's just the theory that you grow an extra arm whenever one's required.
Yeah.
Oh, John's with us. Good morning, John. I'm going to give you a little call afterwards, if that's all right. And we'll have a little natter.
I didn't change my seam allowance. It's not the end of the world.
No, but look,
still works, still gone together. So we'll just press that. And
did you want to press? Because you know it is that moment, isn't it? I feel like I'm interfering otherwise.
It's very nice having a little.
Well, I think when you get the ta-da moment, if someone takes the iron, that's not fair. I'm getting the the glory moment. Otherwise, that's not okay.
That's fine. I'm happy to share it with you. So this is the block.
Beautiful.
This is how it comes together.
I want all these now.
Yes.
You might have to come home with me. There's some playing to be done. Oh, let's go overhead. We need to see this.
See that.
We do need to see that because it looks fabulous.
Now you can see that's a rectangle really. So for the cushion, I squared it up. Now I added the sides onto it, but I also put some onto the top and the bottom just to make it square. There is enough fabric within your kit to do that for the cushion sides. You might just want to add to the side, which is what I did with the... No, I haven't done anything with the large one. No. And I didn't do anything with the pin cushion either.
Yeah. But if you want to, and you want to add sashing or borders or anything to make this into a bigger quilt, and like you said, Jane, before, you've pinned this here so that you can see the top and bottom parts of it. It's actually longer, isn't it?
Yes, I think it comes out something like 53 by 70 something, is it? I think
I think that was right. But it's more like a longer, thinner spool than that. Like a Gutermann spool rather than a Coates one. But you could then, if you wanted to make it into a bigger quilt, you could sash, but you could get some of these as well, and you could do some fabulous borders and sashing, couldn't you, to make a bigger quilt?
You could use your whole long quarter and do all of it into the large one, if you wanted to. Yes. You could make that then wider, and probably a little bit longer. Yes. It's entirely up to you. And if you wanted to, you could unpick it halfway through and have two smaller wall hangings. Like the cushion panel.
Because just to reiterate, these kits that we've got here today, which should retail at much nearer to £60, are $49.99, and those fabric kits will do your wall hanging / quilt front and your binding. They will do your cushion, and it was 2 cushion panels, wasn't it?
So you could, which you could see, couldn't you, that I got two pieces from my... I did one strip, 1.5 inch wide, joined them together as per, and I got 2 pieces. So that would have made, and you can see, I've actually cut a wider border there and put my square on just to
make it quicker. Overhead so we can have a peep at that.
I worked out that I was going to get a 24-inch quilt cushion top, so you can see that I just worked out what I would need, and I cut a wider one and just put the square in the corner of the one strip as I would have done for the border.
Nice.
In the other one that I made, I did the bobbin block like I did, and then I added another border. So,
but you could, if you were making these two fronts, you could have done them side by side and had a rectangular pillow, couldn't you? Yeah. And that would have been beautiful. But the kit will make you the hanging that we saw behind us, a longer version, 2 of these fronts, and the pin cushion.
Well, I'm just going to show you as well for the pin cushion.
Yes.
If I just move the cushion out of the way. Back. This is this lovely cool.
That's the cool colourway,
which I just think is stunning.
Gorgeous. There we go. I'll pop this back because you did a beautiful display, and there's me taking it to bits.
It's fine. But with the pin cushion, I took my strip and I cut it in half along what would be the width of the strip. So this isn't what was left over of my fabric, but it would have been, if we pretend this is the full colourway, I just cut it in what is the natural fold for the fabric that comes up. So that's the width of fabric strip, cut it in half, and I joined those strips in the same way, end to end, 45-degree seam, and I got a very long, thin piece of fabric from which I cut a section just because I wanted to have the joins on this spot.
Let's go overhead because we need to see that.
I wanted to have the joins. It's not going to go with it.
I tell you, I keep saying let's go overhead, let's do this, you see that switch button I'm pressing, Jane?
I can see you pressing it. I can see you doing it, Gemma.
It's making me quite cross.
I just wanted to have the seam join in on mine. So I just cut that section from there. I can't remember. I think it was 4.5 inch section. But you can see here, this is just from half a width of fabric. You can see how much fabric I actually got from there.
Well, you could make several pin cushions, couldn't you?
You could make several pin cushions, or you could make several small blocks and put them together to make a small wall hanging with lots of
that
blocks
would be
in.
Super cute.
That would be really lovely.
Really cute.
This is the rainbow one.
And this bundle that will do all of these projects is just $49.99.
Amazing. And the quilting on this is quite simple because it's straight line.
Close up actually, because if you pop that in front of, making sure that you're just covering up the she says, as you know,
it's not going to do it. No. I can see you pressing it.
Thank you, Jane. There we go. Thank you for reassuring everyone that I'm not going quite mad. And there we go.
You can see it's probably not, it could be straighter, but again I think that bit of irregularity adds to the effect. And again, as a beginner, if you don't feel you've got to be absolutely perfect, it helps you get the project finished.
But a straight line quilting is fab, isn't it?
But it doesn't detract from the block, and I think it enhances it, and it's very simple to do. And I've just gone 1/4 inch. Well, I've used the edge of my foot as my guide. It's a bit wobbly in places. It doesn't quite, it's not symmetrical. Doesn't matter. I think it just gives that texture. And if you're going to use the end of your strips, which might not be the same width, again, that just adds to it.
Yeah.
And I don't think this sort of project needs any more than that straight line banding. Because it just enhances the pattern.
It doesn't. There's something very modern about the straight line quilting as well, isn't there?
Yeah.
Really lovely.
And when you're using a walking foot, it's very simple because it's got that bar that you can expand the width of your quilting, keeps it nice and guided, or you can just literally use the edge of the quilting foot. So it's a very straight and a nice way of quilting things. So,
I love this, and I love that you've done so much with it, and all of the things we suggested, well, you could do this, Jane, or you could do that, Jane, or you've done all of them, and you've pulled in some other techniques as well, just to make it a little bit different.
Yeah, so there's a lot.
Marvellous.
It's great for a beginner. It's another way of expanding your skill set as a beginner, just to give you a little bit more push, just to try a bit more, but it's still very simple straight line sewing.
But what a brilliant pattern to have all that technique in there, and something that you can pull on to make new fabric from your scraps as well.
Yeah. Wonderful.
She's done it again. You've done it again, Jane. You've done it again.
And you end up with great big piles of beautiful fabric.
Which is never to be sniffed at, is it? It's lovely. Really lovely.
Yeah.
I mean, this just reminds me of John when he gets excited with the salvages. It's that same kind of.
I mean, you could use this
streamer appeal, isn't it?
The pincushion one, you definitely could use your little salvage off
with the ruby star and brilliant.
Beautiful.
Lovely Diane on YouTube has paid us a compliment. She says, "You two ladies look rather elegant today."
Oh, thank you.
I'm going to take elegant.
Yes,
after very little sleep.
Yes.
Mr. Thomas got up this morning and he said, "Oh, I'm so tired." And I said, "I have no idea why, as I'm fairly sure they would have heard you snoring 8 miles away." I had literally sat all night working on my laptop. Well, I think people have seen messages coming through on WhatsApp and emails coming through because I couldn't sleep.
No.
He was like a pneumatic drill. So, and that's the second night in a row. Tomorrow I'm going to try and spend my day in my pyjamas. Just take the dogs to the vets, then I'm going to just have a good snooze, because honestly,
catch up. Yes.
I did promise. Oh, and there's a lot of love coming through. Here we go. Look, I love it, Jane. Great show, girlies. Love the potential from this kit. Just finished 70 cushion covers, so I'm off for a brew.
Gosh.
And this is Karen. She's got to decide which colourway to go for as well.
Yeah, that is a difficult one.
Do choose your kit. They are $49.99. Crazy, crazy price. And we do have the 3 colourways. The instructions are up as well in printed format. The digital will be later. Don't forget, if you're spending over £50 before your postage, you can then type in mystery half metre, add that product to your basket. It will look like it's going to charge you £7.95. But when you get to the checkout screen, in the discount code box, put the words free half metre, all one word, and we will give you free half metre of designer fabric as well, even on this discounted product. You know, we do the best we can to deliver you the best value we can. It's really important to us because as a small business, we're dependent on you. So we like to make sure we look after you as well. It's really important to us.
It is.
On that note, do not forget those bolt ends that we mentioned at the very beginning. We loaded some Lisa Chandler ones recently. Those flew out. We loaded some Liberty Wiltshire Shadows. Gone, but we have got some others as well, and there will be more coming through. So the fabric clearance page is a place to find those. I've loaded some further down the collection.
Well,
I've got a little bit here.
Home, isn't there? There's a little bit of O'Deal I see there.
I've grabbed a little bit here. I don't know whether that one's on, and if it's not, Jane, that needs to be in my life. But we do have some really beautiful. I love this Liberty Artist's Home.
That is a beautiful fabric.
Gorgeous.
That would make stunning backing of a quilt.
Because the other Liberty was so popular, we needed to make sure we'd got some Liberty on there for you because you liked it. So I might have to go and find some more. Young Izzy will get very, very upset. She doesn't like it when we load Liberty because, you know, it's not the thing. You don't find discounted Liberty. And this is one of the more recent fabrics as well. Yeah. So look at that. That is just, I mean, so versatile, isn't it? It's beautiful. Yeah. Beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. And we have got, I think, got a little bit of painter's vase as well, Jane, which goes so beautifully with it. Look at this. And these pieces of fabric that we're loading into our fabric clearance as a bolt end, it literally is just that we've got a huge amount of Kaffe arriving. We've got fabric coming through all the time. We need space on the shelf. So if we've got something that's 3 meters or below, we need to get that off the shelf so we've got room to put the new bolts in. We are a tiny business.
Yeah, and 3 meters doesn't really do a show, does it? You can't. No, it doesn't. You can't make kits from.
It really doesn't.
Meters. So but if we don't use it in a half meter heaven, we'll bolt end it. I think it's something that Natasha's looking to, continue, isn't she?
If possible, yes. But, we can't always offer such big discounts on things. Of course we can. And there definitely won't be Liberty all the time. This one might have to come home with me if it doesn't go immediately.
I think
this is Melu Meadow. I'm going to put that the other side. But you can see a lot of these lend themselves to being paired up really nicely. Those 3 are all Liberty. And these fabrics, we're not talking small discounts here. We are talking 25% off.
That's fantastic.
Some of them are 3 meters, which would be fantastic for dressmaking or quilt backing. Some are a little less.
Can you imagine that in a shirt?
Absolutely. And that's why I just said I think this should come home with me.
I love this pattern.
Make a beautiful blouse as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I'd really like that as, quite a nice high neck, just simple vest top.
Yeah, super.
In fact, there's some brilliant patterns in the most recent Sewing Bee books that I've seen, and there's one in particular that it's just a lovely, simplistic round neck.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, high neck vest.
I love this.
It's gorgeous in that, gorgeous. But there are other fabrics as well. It's not just that we've got Liberty, and there's not just this box down here. We are loading all the time. In actual fact, I'm all about these colours at the moment, clearly. But I'm just going to grab this last one.
I love that one.
I know. Now this is a bit of a Sala, isn't it? Is it Tropicana?
Yeah.
Again.
I think I had some of that when it first arrived because I
was
like, I need that in my life.
You did, and when you can get it,
yeah,
it's worth getting, isn't it?
It is.
So a bit of a Sala. Again, the quality, Scion, isn't it? The quality's lovely.
Yeah. Again, Scion
really
is a good brand, good quality. Scion also do furnishing fabrics.
They do.
So they really are about the quality and the quality of print. The base cloth is important to them. So you're getting, it's moda quality.
It is.
Scion is. It's beautiful.
I think many people know Jane used to have a fabric shop and you stocked a Sala, didn't you? The Scion fabrics, sorry. Just lovely, really lovely. But that is a really small amount of what we've got hidden away.
Yeah.
Hidden away, sneaky peek. So please do pop along and find those. Jane, what are you up to next week, Jane?
I think we've got
two things that are going on at the moment, and I can't remember which is which week.
I think it's Annie's quilt.
Oh, is it the book?
Yes. And I'm going to do some Kaffe. Now, whether the new stuff arrives in time or whether we use some of our previous collection, but either way, it'll look beautiful.
We're prepping in one anyway, aren't we?
Yes.
So,
Yeah. There might be a kit in the new collection.
Absolutely. Monday, Natasha's back. We've got Natasha here, and she's looking at some stunning autumn makes. So,
lovely,
yes, she's got a really diverse show with lots of different aspects to it. Sewing, some not sewing.
Oh,
it's quite exciting.
Nice.
Yes, absolutely.
Lovely.
But there is plenty of sewing in there as well. On Tuesday, we've got John Cole Morgan with us. So if you're busy making the summer quilt, he's normally in on a Monday. Next week it is Tuesday, so just bear that in mind. But SJ's newsletter will remind everybody.
Yes, keep your eye out on Friday for your Friday newsletter.
Oh, please do. Absolutely. And that's Summer Block 9 that he'll be doing with us. I can't believe it. We're flying on through that project. It's right near the end now. So yeah, don't miss that. And then, yes, Jane will be back.
I've got a lovely
Stitchy Witchy Wednesday.
Annie's quilting book. I love the Annie's quilting books.
They're such good value.
Good value and easy and nice patterns to follow.
And you're doing the cover image from that book because we looked through the whole book and we loved several of the projects, and you put stickers all the way through it. Love this, love that, maybe. And in the end, we just came back to that front cover and said, it's got to be this one.
Yeah.
If we could
make... Because I like to incorporate skills that we may not have tried for a while, so that we're constantly developing our skills together and everything like that. So although Annie's quilts are lovely because they're nice, simple books, they're nice, simple patterns within the books that are great for beginners. Sometimes there's one that just, there's a technique in there and I think, let's just demonstrate that one because that's a nice pattern to follow.
If there were infinite hours in the day, we'd make all the projects.
Oh, we'd want everything.
Because every time,
I just love those
every
books.
time we went to go and see our book rep when we were at the Festival of Quilts, and we were going through the books, and I'd got this huge stack of books, and I'm like, send us samples of all of those, please. We need to schedule them into shows. So you will see these coming through. I've now got an agreement as well that we reserve stock that's specifically ours.
Yes, because we've been caught a couple of times thinking we could do it, and then it's been like, we've got none of those left.
So they're reserving stock for us, so that is secured, which is fantastic. But yes, this evening, your Half Meter Heavens go live at midnight. SJ will have your Friday deals for you on Friday. If you're not registered for that newsletter, what are you doing? What are you doing?
You're missing out.
You're missing out. That's why you missed out on the Liberty Quilt Wiltshire Shadow bolt ends and all manner of other loveliness. But Natasha will be back Monday. Thank you for joining us. Jane and I are going to lie in a darkened room somewhere. Yes. We're not. We've got so much to do. I've got 60 odd bolts of Kaffe to load up.
Yes.
Dearie me, what will I do?
We're still catching up on orders. So yeah, we're going to be busy this afternoon.
Oh, do we stock the book? We absolutely will. That book will be... I'm assuming she means the book we're doing next week, Chris.
Yes.
That book will be stocked and it will be going live with the kits and everything else next Wednesday.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next Wednesday. Lovely to have you with us. Thank you very much for joining us. Lots of love. Take care. And bye-bye.
Bye-bye.